Talking about gender wars or this trend of gender wars, pitching ideologies of males against females instead of looking for some form of harmony between the sexes or the genders, right? There's another thing I have noticed. Guys tend to claim that women are or ladies are after their monies, right? After their economic affluence and all that. And so they get offended, they get angry when ladies approach them or respond to them favorably based on the fact that they are buoyant economically, right? I think it's sort of one-sided, in my opinion. I think that there is this imagination that women should not have an idea of how stable economically they want a guy to be. And it's quite, hypocritical, because when you want to get married, the question even your fellow guys, your friends and family members will ask you is, you hold your side. In other words, in pidgin, in English, it means, are you rich enough, or do you have enough money? Do you have enough economic strength to start a family? So they'll normally ask you, oh boy, you hold your side. That's, in Nigeria. And then if you go to, even when you meet your pastor, for you that are Christians, they want to know what you do for a living, right? They want to know what you do for a living. In other words, these parties are asking you or judging your readiness for marriage or a serious relationship based on your economy. Another set of people that ask about your economic strength are the lady's family members, maybe her brothers, her siblings, or her parents. In fact, if you go meet the lady's parents, they'll want to find out what you do for a living. And asking what you do for a living does not necessarily imply that they want to know whether you are in a particular field of endeavor. In fact, even though they want to know whether you're in a particular field of endeavor, maybe they want to know whether you're maybe a medical doctor, it is because they understand the implied economic connotation to being a medical doctor. It's not like they're passionate about the fact that, oh, you heal people or you treat people. So if the lady's father, who is a man, the lady's siblings, her brothers particularly, are asking about your economic strengths, your pastor or your religious leader, depending on what religion you are involved with, is asking about your economic strength. Even your friends are pulling you to one corner and asking you, oh boy, you ready for this thing? In other words, hey dude, are you ready for a serious relationship? And all these people are asking about it based on your economics. They're not asking about your readiness based on maybe if you have good ethics or character. They're not asking about that based on if your health is failing. In fact, sometimes if your health is failing, they will even say you should go get married because you'll have a steady nurse at home. So if all these people are asking about your readiness for a serious relationship, probably leading to a marriage, based on your economic strength, why is it that when the ladies judge our preparedness for a serious relationship or marriage, and all based on economics, we tend to be offended, we tend to be, go crazy about it. Like, oh, all these ladies, you guys, we use the B word, we just call them all manner of names. It doesn't make sense. It's not cultured, in my opinion. It doesn't seem to create the balance or the harmony between the genders, because as guys, especially as we tend to believe that we're the head of the family or we're the leaders, I think that we should be ready economically, because even your relatives will show up for your wedding based on how economically stable you are. I hope you know that. I just hope you know that. For those of us who are Christians, the Bible says that if you are broke, I'm just using my own terms, this is me paraphrasing, that if you're broke, your family members will avoid you. How much more your friends? So why is it that when ladies tend to avoid guys who are broke or poor, we would criticize them harshly without thinking that they are right? Do you understand? Is it just part of these gender wars to ensure that we kind of paint ladies in a negative light? Is there some form of propaganda to ensure that both genders are at war? Do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't just make sense to me. And like I would always say, since we think we're logical, we should actually sit down to think about these our tendencies to judge ladies unfairly, because every other party involved in checking or assessing whether you are ready, they're all doing it based on your economics. Your father, even your parents, the girl's father, the girl's brothers, all these are males, right? They're judging on that premise, on that algorithm. But when the lady, when ladies tend to size you up, we would be angry, we would be offended that they are smart enough or wise enough to know that you should go get your shit together, right? We should be wise, we should be logical as we claim to be. Thank you.